Kia ora team, welcome to episode 2 of Real Dunedin with Chris Mclean and myself. Tonight we have got a really good show for you. We have got an expert on the healthy homes who'll be speaking with Chris because I'm going to be too big to be in frame. We're also going to talk about a couple of houses this week and a little bit on our beloved Highlanders last week's performance and also this upcoming match against the Crusaders. Awesome, Chris. Episode 2.
Yeah, looking forward to it again.
Yeah, same, mate. Same.
Happy.
Hey, what a fantastic month we've had in real estate with the Bailey's Metro team. As of the 30th of June, we had got completed 50 sales. It has been a phenomenal month.
I know, that's 50 unconditional sales. So either they confirmed as sold unconditionally or they were unconditional. And for any market, any time in Dunedin, for 50 in June is phenomenal.
Yeah, the market just seems really buoyant in Dunedin. There's lots of people at open homes. There's lots of people visiting and lots of inquiries on the emails.
It's coming in thick and fast, and I'm just I know the stats for we talked about last week. The stats will show a picture eventually over the next couple of months. So June stats will be another 10 or 15 days. I'm looking forward to it. I've changed a lot. I used to look forward to going out on Saturday nights. Now I'm looking forward to stats. So I don't know.
You're growing up there, Chris.
I got older. But I know it's been great. It feels good on the coalface, doesn't it? I mean, you've had a great week.
Yeah, it's been really good. What I'm actually loving is seeing people get into homes, who've been looking for a while and they're actually getting into them now, which has been fantastic. This week we had a fantastic marketing campaign on a property, and we achieved a fantastic result at auction.
You did. It was a great one. Yeah, you built it right up, had people there bidding. Great for the vendors. And
having the vendors in the room while we did the auction and seeing them after the auction and just seeing the smile on their face. The other thing that really, really made me happy about that property was, a purchaser looking for their first investment property. So I'll be definitely giving Tom their number so that he can go and have a chat with them about the healthy homes.
Oh, I'd love it too, because there's a minefield, and he'll get into that later on. But I saw those purchasers walking down the stairs at work. Massive grins. Yeah. That's what makes our job great.
Oh, it is. Hey, mate, you have got a really good property this week, haven't you, coming on?
I have. Talking of first-home buyers or investors, yeah, I have. I've got one in Bathgate Street, South Dunedin, number 6. It's got 3 bedrooms, fresh decor throughout. It's just one of those wee crackers. Buyers around the late 2s, 300 should be looking at it. Heat pump, backyard to really, it's a blank canvas of a backyard. I'm pretty pumped to get that open, and if you need any more details on that, just give me a bell.
Yeah, what I liked about that property is that it's just move in and use as right now. There's nothing that you have to do to make it livable. No, it's just you can use it, and then over time you add your little personal touch to it and make it yours.
I tell you what, yeah, you're right. And I tell you what it'd be great for. It'd be great for a first home to get on the market, but then you can use it then going forward as equity to buy your second one. Yeah, and maybe this one as a rental. Yeah,
this is fantastic. And it's a great property. So, hey, people, if you're looking for a great first home or even a second or a rental property, an investment property, give Chris a call. He'll look after you.
I'll be there.
Now, our guest, I've alluded to him just before, Tom. He's coming in to talk about healthy homes. So Tom is from Tom Sharp is from Metro Property Management, and he is our guru on everything that has to do with rental properties, being a landlord, and what we're going to be talking about tonight is the Healthy Homes Act.
Okay, so excited to have you on as our first guest, the guru of all things rental, the godfather of property management, Chris. Mr. Tom Sharp. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
I appreciate your time, and I'm sure the listeners will pick up lots out of this. So really, just at the moment, Tom, the property market, the investment market, the rental market, what's happening out there?
Dunedin's great. Like at the moment, as you'd have to be living under a rock not to know the things that are happening in Dunedin. We've got the hospital build, university's got lots of work underway. Previous to all of this happening, we had a property shortage. We didn't have enough properties for the tenants that were making inquiries to the properties. This is only going to get worse, and we all know what happens with supply and demand. It just pushes prices up, which is great for returns.
It is indeed. So you're finding like the ones you've got available to rent, they're getting good numbers applying, good numbers through?
Yeah, and even after COVID, we're having good attendances to the open days and homes that we have with the properties. We're getting great success with renting the properties. In fact, we've got hundreds of properties that we manage. Currently, we've only got 4 available. So there's an indication of the supply and demand issue that we have, and that's with Bailey's Metro.
And that's probably mirrored Dunedin wide, I'd imagine, too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, Tom, there's some big legislation changes. They were about to be in, but first of all, healthy homes, you know, for the mum and dad investors, for even people with plenty. What is it?
It is a worrying
Tell me
time,
about it.
Yeah, it's a worrying time for people that are not aware of what's actually happening or keeping up to date with the legislation. But yes, so the first change was coming out of COVID that the date was amended for having the Healthy Homes statement on your tenancy agreement. So it's now been extended out to the 1st of December. Gives us a wee bit of a breathing space because we can't get people in to assess properties to see the state of where we're at to meeting this legislation. So that's been great.
Yeah, and that was supposed to be the 1st of July.
That's right.
Right, so we've that pushed it out, which is good for everyone because there's some big things need to be done, isn't there? So tell me, what are some of the big things like heating?
Yeah,
that's all in now. Well, that's part of it. That's going to come in
definitely
December.
Coming in. There's quite a few parts. There's the heating, there's the ventilation, there's the drainage and water egress, and there's ventilation. So all of those points have to be addressed. Would you like me to run through them just briefly?
I'd love to, because it's not just heating, is it?
No, it's not just heating. But heating is about having a heat source that can heat and maintain a heat of 18 degrees or more. That's determined by the World Health Organisation's between 18 and 20. 18 is for an adult, 20 is for an infant or a child. But how that's arranged is a formula. So you have to measure the walls, wall space, the window space. So there's a formula and a calculation. In fact, Tenancy Services have got a great little calculation that you can put all that data in, and it automatically tells you how many kilowatts of a heat source that you need. So for example, with a heat pump, put that in, it says you need 4 kilowatts, so you can safely then go ahead, purchase, unless you've already got one, a 4 kilowatt heat pump, and you know that you're compliant.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of detail that you just wouldn't, if you're just brushing over that healthy homes and thinking, I've got a heat pump, no problems. It's not a very good one, but it's in there. And there's a little bits of gaps around the doors and that, but that no more?
No. And here's the other thing that you might not be aware, that you may already have a 4 kilowatt heat pump, but when you do your formula, you realise, damn it, I need 6 kilos. Or you might have 4.5, and you need 6 kilowatts. You don't necessarily have to rip that heat pump out, go away and purchase a 6 kilowatt heat pump. Tenancies, MBIE have said that your maximum you can have for an electric heater is 1.5 kilowatts. So if you've already got a 4.5 kilowatt heater, then just put in a 1.5 thermostatically controlled heater in the room. The total volume of kilowatts is now 6 kilowatts, and you're compliant. And it's a far cheaper option. Well, it's a cheaper option because now you've only had to install that 1.5 kilowatt heater as opposed to a brand new heat pump. So, knowing the legislation can save you money as well.
Yeah, because ventilation's the same. So it has to be able to be work for the space it's ventilating. It's not like the size of the...
Okay, yeah, there's ventilation and there's draft. So ventilation is you have to have an opening window in kitchen, living, and bedroom. Now, drafts are different. Drafts are where if you can get a $2 coin, basically, lay it on its side, and if it can fit into a gap that goes out into the outside, basically,
so
and allows draft in, or around a window, then that's non-compliant.
Yeah.
It needs to be sealed. But the ventilation as far as ducting goes is another part of the process. So you've got range hoods, and you've got in your bathroom.
So an open window in the bathroom is not going to cut it now?
The mustard.
No.
There are some exemptions, though. Be aware that if you've got a situation that it's just not physically possible to have a ducting system in place there, then there is an exemption for that. But 99% of the case, you will need a good ducting system, and the important terminology is that it goes to air. It can't just go up into your roof cavity. They want that moisture out of the house.
It's a minefield. It's a minefield, and it will be particularly pertinent to those that have had rentals for 15 years, 10 years, good tenants, no problems.
Yes.
But there's penalties, I imagine. Like there's some, if the tenant decides and knows the rules, tenants always will. What's some of the comeback on the landlord if they let it go and it's not compliant?
Well, we've noticed from history shown us with the insulation, when we had to get all that insulation installed, that the tenants were actually the minders of it, basically. When they found out all the specifications and found out there was a fine that they would receive the money for if they weren't compliant, of course tenants were jumping up on ladders looking in roofs because it was to their advantage. It's but realistically it's the right thing. We do need to have healthier homes. We're in Dunedin, everyone knows the climate here's a little bit more challenging, so we should have good, warm, dry, healthy homes.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it as well. But there's some. I know there's some tenants. They were getting a portion of their refunded.
Yes,
is that correct?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They're their watchdog, basically. Yep. So know the legislation. Make sure. Look, the best way to do it, and that's what we're doing at Bailey's Metro. We're engaging professionals. They will go. They will assess it. They will give us exactly the information we need to make us compliant, but for our owners, they're going to give us compliance certificates.
Yep. So it's basically a warrant of fitness.
It really is.
So you're compliant, you're good, good to go, and you're avoiding those minefields. Tom, that's really like I think anyone that has got property or is thinking about getting property, they really should be in touch for a chat, shouldn't they? Because where you are, you're the buffer between the legislation and them as landlords, especially the mum and dad landlords that have got one property.
That's right, Chris. You're so right. And look, a phone call, quick chat on the phone, even an email to Metro Property Management, addressed to me, to Tom. Look, I'll answer it. There's no problem with that, because the last thing I want to see is people getting themselves in dire strait or stressing out over this. Just happy to help however we can.
And anyone that's good enough to watch this podcast deserves to be helped.
Most definitely.
Tom, can't say how much I appreciate your time. Your wisdom and your expertise is very valuable, and I'm sure people got a lot out of that. I really appreciate your time, Tom.
Thank you very much. And I don't know if I'm that wise, because we all know that in this world today there is only 3 types of wise people: those that count and those that can't.
Leave with that, Jim. Thank you, Tom.
Cheers, mate.
Well, that was awesome, Chris. A lot of great information there, wasn't it?
Oh, the man just has so much in his head, and he just knows so much. But it's so important, like you just don't know if you don't know. And who would read up on that stuff if they weren't really that interested in it?
Yeah, mate. I've got to stop teaching you because you did that really well.
Great.
You answered some great questions.
I'm like a sponge.
No, but in all seriousness, hey, if you're thinking and you're living in your house as a home, and your goal on that is to renovate it, and obviously might down the future look at doing a rental, you need to know that legislation and that. So if you're unsure, give Tom a call at Metro Property Management. You can look them up online and just have a chat with him. Send him an email. He's more than happy to help. It is important, and if you're a landlord and want to know the same information, give him a buzz.
Hey, I tell you what, if you say you saw him on Real Dunedin, he'll look after you.
Hey, he will, definitely will. Wow.
Here it goes,
mate. Highlanders. Last week, how close were we to winning that game?
Oh, wow. What a game.
Mate, for me, I loved everything about that game. I loved that our forward pack took it to them. I love that we scored some fantastic tries. I didn't like that as soon as we scored the tries, we let them score tries, but that's rugby, and it was exciting because the Blues are my second favourite team, and I was quite happy with that. But I was wanting the Highlanders to win, and for me, they've had the opportunities to win that game, but what a massive brain fart not taking the old kick straight down the line when we got that penalty. I thought that's... If points are available to take the points. Then you could go to Golden Point and you give yourself some time to re-establish your game plan and the opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, I completely hear what you're saying. And also you take the points, you draw the game, you get the ball kicked back to you. So then it's up to you to back yourself. There was a couple of things, like a wise man just said to me before. Disappointed when we had penalty advantage a couple of minutes before that we went for the drop goal, and not the try. I thought throw everything at the try. But this is where we're going to butt heads, because I've actually got a slightly different take.
Okay, let's hear it, mate. Let's hear it.
I'm glad there's distance between us.
I'll give you my good ear and not my bad ear.
I know you can't kick me.
Because that's been chewed off enough. Come on, let's go.
Right, for me, I don't like the term rebuilding. I like developing emerging talent, and that's what we're going through at the moment.
Love that.
But for me, the only thing that I thought about that was I was annoyed. And then I thought, do you know what? It showed me. Now, this will sound weird, but you'll know what I'm talking about. Some people out there will think it's the same thing. But it showed me that they went up there to win that game. They didn't just go up there to not lose it.
Yeah, they backed themselves. Oh, yeah, I get that. But like the Crusaders, very smart, very clever. They calculate what is going to be the best outcome for them. And I love that the Highlanders are playing that high-risk, fast-paced rugby, but sometimes you've just got to slow down. And my way of saying that is your body's on fire and your brain's in the fridge. It's frozen. Okay, so that you can still be going at 100 miles an hour, but your brain is still switching over. But, hey, they had a crack, and I love that. This week, they've got their chance to redeem themselves against the Crusaders.
Oh, how good's that going to be?
Mate, the Crusaders are the team. They are the team that everyone wants to beat. And Otago and Canterbury is even bigger. So this is going to be huge this week.
It is. And the Canterbury are really good at this. And what the game last week proved was at that level, like you've played at that level and you've gone beyond and played at that. And for me, it just reiterated that a really good player that goes on to be a great player isn't sometimes the one that runs the most, or it's the ones that make the least mistakes. Yes, totally. But a dynamic. But when Ben Smith was at the back, part of his big appeal was he did not make mistakes.
No, didn't make mistakes. But what I do like about the Highlanders is that they back themselves.
Yeah.
And they've got a pack out this week, and their strategy this week is they've got a whole new front row. Yep. So the front row is going to be playing. Just trying to think who that front row is. If we've got Ash Dixon's on the bench.
Yeah.
So we've got Thwaite.
Yep.
We've got Coltman. And who is Lieutenant Brown?
Lieutenant
Brown.
Yeah, he's in there. He'll be
so very mobile front row.
Yeah, very.
And they're going to be trying to keep pace with the Crusaders. What I love about that is the bench that is going to be coming on. Tukulahi, Dixon, and is it Johnson?
Johnson.
Yeah. So they have picked the team to really take it to the Crusaders, not just for the first 45, 60 minutes, but for 80 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. Because Ash Dixon for me has been one of the players of the season. His work rate from when he starts to when he finishes has been phenomenal. He'll be like a can of Coke being shaken up, and when you release that tab, and Coltman, we know how good he is over the ball, and it's going to be those 1%ers against Canterbury.
I'm really impressed with the Highlanders pack over the last couple of games. They have stood up, they have fronted up, and I just hope that tomorrow on the weekend when they get out there against the Crusaders is that they even get larger and get tougher and have a good crack, put those Crusaders under pressure. And
they go out there knowing that they can win.
Yeah.
You would never have stepped foot on a field thinking you're probably not going to win.
But when you walked out there, you just went your hardest. If you did your best, and your your teammates around you, rose to play their best game, then collectively you're going to be in with a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's big. The other game's a big game as well. The Chiefs have got the Hurricanes at home. Once again, so the table's so tight. Yeah. The Blues got a nice week. Your second favourite team's got a nice week off. Deserved though.
Yeah, they do deserve it. They have played some really good rugby. Chiefs Hurricanes there. That's going to be an interesting one. Because
I can't call that.
No, neither can I. But I think it's going to be a good game to watch.
It's always Hurricanes have always for me been that you don't know what team's going to turn up on the day, but they are putting things together nicely. They're playing with a lot more structure. They've got some good heads in that team. Yeah. I think they'll probably edge the Chiefs, but once those cowbells start going and the Chiefs get their backs up, who knows?
Yeah, I just hope that I do like the Hurricanes. I think that they aren't far from hitting these straps, and I think if any weekend out of this competition is the one for them to do it, it's against the old Waikato, the Chiefs, the Meeuws.
The Meeuws,
yeah.
And also fantastic to have club rugby starting.
Oh yes,
This weekend.
Club rugby
I'm really
this
looking
weekend.
forward to that as well. And there's some big clashes going on there.
So get out there, people, and go and support your local rugby. And then we will see you at the Crusaders and Highlanders game at Forsyth Bar Stadium. Hey, if you're loving the content that we're putting out here, please subscribe and share it with your friends. And if you want to know about something or you think that you've got an idea for a show, put it in the comments and we'll definitely see it. Au revoir.
Thank you.